I like to think that a lot of the people that are watching this video, my subscribers, not only watch this video to benefit themselves and to educate themselves, but also if they get asked by family members, friends, coworkers, that they share this information and help whoever they're talking to make an educated decision. As you might know, a very popular product that's sold when you go to buy a car is gap insurance. Guaranteed asset protection is a product that's sold by the finance office when you go in to buy a car. The product is meant to cover any value beyond what your insurance covers that doesn't fully cover the loan of the car. So say you total your car, insurance pays out whatever it's worth. Say it's $20,000, but you've got an outstanding loan for $25,000. What gap insurance is doing is covering that difference. It's covering the gap. In browsing through YouTube, you might see a ton of videos telling you that Gap is a ridiculous product and you shouldn't buy it and it's completely worthless. Are they right or are they wrong? I want to give you the best possible information right now so that you can decide for yourself. What is happening, guys? Ari here with Boston Automotive Consulting, and as always, this video is brought to you by SaveOnMyAuto.com. SaveOnMyAuto.com is a resource you can use so that you can shop around for the best possible deal. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing because this whole channel is dedicated to giving you everything you're going to need to know so that you can negotiate your best possible deal. Now, make no mistake about it. This video is not about if it's worth buying gap insurance from the dealer. In most every situation, I can easily tell you gap insurance is way overpriced if you're paying full price for it at the dealership. What some of you might not know is that a lot of the insurance companies that are out there also offer gap insurance at a very discounted rate, and you can pay it per month as opposed to tossing it into your loan at a very, very inflated rate. I do want to recommend while you're shopping around for insurance that you also ask how much the gap insurance would be when you're shopping around for an auto insurance rate. One of the companies that I've found will include gap insurance whether you have a loan or a lease, specifically Toyota, because Toyota leases, unlike a lot of the lease companies out there, Toyota does not cover the gap. I've got a link to Esurance in the description below so that you can get a quote what your auto policy would be with gap insurance. Now, when trying to answer this question, is gap insurance worth it if you're gonna be taking out a loan on your car? The smartest thing one can do is put down a ton of money on the car so that they can decrease the amount of debt they're taking out on the car. What a lot of people are doing is that they're covering the gap from the very beginning. However, in the case that they total their car, insurance is only paying them for the amount that the car is worth. What I always try and recommend to people, if they're getting a very, very good interest rate, is to, instead of applying the whole down payment all at once, is to make payments above what their actual contracted monthly payment is. The reason why I say this is if you put down a fat down payment on a car, total it, and the insurance company decides, hey, we can only give you $22,000 for the car and you just purchased it for $26,000, but your loan was only for $20,000, you're not gonna get that money back. And if you had just taken out the loan for the whole amount, had gap insurance, you would have been able to start back at zero without having lost your down payment. Now, in the case of having bad credit or having a ton of negative equity being folded into your loan, you got to keep in mind that the loan that you're about to take out is going to be including a lot more than the car's actual value and just a tiny bit of interest. On a loan where the balance of the loan is a lot more than the value of the car, specifically say 120% of the actual value of the car, if you total that car, again, insurance is only going to cover the value of that car. That negative balance that's going to be left for you to pay off, most of the times gap insurance will cover it. Now, it really doesn't matter where you get the gap insurance from. Like I mentioned in the very beginning, a lot of insurance companies will sell you gap insurance, and if you're trying to negotiate a deal with a dealership for gap insurance, there's a ton of markup in the price that they're trying to sell you the gap insurance for. So take, for instance, if you're being offered gap insurance for $800, my rule of thumb is always offer 50%, or the smarter way to do this, if you don't want to operate on guesswork, Find out from your insurance company what the gap insurance would be over a course of 5 years. Find out what the monthly payment amount would be, including gap insurance, and without. Take the difference, multiply it by the term of your loan, and tell the person that's doing your paperwork, I was quoted X amount for gap insurance from my insurance company. More than often, what'll probably happen is they'll probably come back and say, your insurance company will only cover about 125% of the vehicle's value. And gap insurance, the ones that they sell, will cover whatever the balance is on the loan. More often than not, you can't finance more than 120% of the vehicle's value. Most banks set this as a rule. So just keep that in the back of your head whenever you're negotiating with the finance office about why their price is extremely marked up. And the only way that you'll buy it from them is if they'll sell it to you for what the cheapest possible other place is gonna sell it to you for. So guys, I hope that this video helped solve that question. Is gap insurance worth it? It is worth it, and in fact, most lease companies include gap insurance in every single auto lease. The truth is that the lease companies are getting the gap insurance for a lot cheaper than what the dealership is trying to sell it to you for. The product itself is an awesome product. It's another layer of protection so that you don't have to dish out unnecessary money in case of an accident or theft. However, you should not be paying full price for the product, and you should be shopping around for quotes for gap insurance. I've got a link in the description to Esurance. As I mentioned before, they'll give you gap insurance for both your loan and your lease. If you found this information useful and you want to see more of these new car buying and negotiation tip type videos, please consider subscribing. And don't forget to visit the link to Esurance down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.